Okay, in this video we're going to continue with creating a garage foundation system and installing an insulated concrete slab. So we're going to go ahead now and I'm going to just hide these walls quickly so we can take a look around our garage so far. And if I go ahead and turn this around, you can see down inside of the garage, and you can see this lip right here. My cursor is running back and forth over. That is going to be the concrete ledge that has been created by the foundation wall there, and that's going to be the ledge that's going to hold the concrete slab. So what we can do now is continue to work on putting that slab in. What I'll do is go back to this foundation drawing, and I'm going to go ahead and start setting up that floor system. So I'll grab my architecture tab, slide over to the floor systems, and now I'm going to go ahead and find a floor that I can work with. So here's a 4-inch concrete floor with 4 inches of stone. I'm going to go ahead and just want to edit that type. I'm going to duplicate the floor, and I'm going to keep the 4 inches of concrete. And then instead of having the 4 inches of stone, the stone's actually going to become a separate floor system in and of itself. But what I'm going to do is keep the 4 inches of concrete and then have the 2 inches of rigid or 2 inches of insulation, 2 inches of insulation underneath of it. So we'll go ahead and continue to set this up. We're going to then go ahead and delete the gravel. The 6mm vapor barrier will end up underneath of or end up with the stone, so we'll get rid of that as well. And I'm going to go ahead and insert the category of insulation. So we'll go ahead and go find that insulation. So there's my 2-inch rigid insulation. Keep that information there, is all fine and good. 2 inches of insulation, all set, and we'll hit OK. So with that being said, we can go ahead and start drawing in the boundary lines for our walls. And this time I'm actually going to just draw in the lines myself. So I'm going to then zoom in, and I'm going to have those that boundary line draw directly over top of the insulation layer, so that I'm drawing on the inside of that insulation layer and working my way all the way around the building here. And then this will just run directly across the foundation wall and then jog back out. All right, so that all set, we can go ahead, and this is going to say, oh, this was on the bottom of foundation, I don't need it there. I can move this up to, let's see here, TO foundation, and then we'll probably have to do some offset work. No, I don't want that to attach. All right, so then given that that is set up now, what I can do is I want to go ahead and start creating some sections. That way I can really get an idea of what's happening inside of my walls here. So I'm going to get a large section running all the way across the building, and I'm going to then pull this back so all I see is that portion of the wall that I'm sectioning. So I'm going to make it nice and tight and then go to that section view. And immediately I'm going to go ahead and set this up so I have a detailed or a fine section, and come over here, zoom in, and we can see that I have a concrete slab up here at the top, and then this is my 2-inch slab here down at the bottom. This really needs to sit down onto this ledge. So what I'm going to do is just get a quick measurement to see where I'm located. It looks like I'm 2 inches high. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the slab, height offset, and we'll just set this up to be -2 inches, and you can see it drops down. What that just did is it's now creating a continuous barrier. This is an insulated barrier, runs down the inside of the exterior stem wall all the way down to the footer, and then that blocks, creating a block for the thermal transfer. Same for the slab itself, that's running underneath of the slab, creating a block for thermal transfer. So keeping the slab insulated and hopefully the building a bit warmer. So now we're going to keep taking a look at some details where I'm going to then move my section forward. So I'm actually taking a section where the garage door is, and also I can see a section of the typical wall. And we're going to take a look then to see where things are. Well, let's look at the wall over here first. obviously this wall is not going to float around up here on nothing. This needs to come down and join into the wall system. So I'll go ahead and grab the wall, but what I can really do is if I went back to my level 1 and I went ahead and selected, holding down Control, selecting the rest of these walls, I can move around the foundation and select those walls, and then I can tell it right now so that the base constraint is going to go down to the TO foundation. By doing that, and I come back into my section, I can see that those walls have come down and joined the top of that solid 4-inch block. That's where we would have anchor bolts running between the blocks and anchoring the bottom plate of that wall in position. So I can see now that I also have the overhang of the OSB and the siding. That's all set and looking good. I'm going to slide down to the other side, and we're going to take a look at the garage door, which is way up here on level 1. That needs to come down and actually engage with the slab itself. Here we have a wall that's been cut below and above because of this garage door. So we need to get this garage door down and onto the slab. So we're going to reset this garage door to TO foundation, and then we're going to set it up with a negative 2-inch offset. What that just did is it comes down and sets it to the level of the slab. Now you can see that we're missing slab, concrete slab in this area, and if we come back here and look at the assignment, you can also see that that's missing because this section of the slab is actually called a thickened or turned down slab. This is a thicker portion of slab that will sit onto the foundation wall, and it's solid concrete. All right, we would not want that insulating layer to run through to the outside, so we want to have a nice solid piece of concrete there. To do this, we need to just create a separate small floor. So we'll go ahead and create that small floor right now, where I'm going to grab my architecture tab, grab my floor tool, and this is just going to be a solid piece of concrete. So if I just grab any concrete floor, edit the type, duplicate, and I can still call this thing exactly what it is. This will be a 6-inch thickened, don't need a cap there, thickened concrete, and it's actually called an apron. All right, concrete apron, and we'll hit OK to that. Pull this down, and that concrete is going to get set up to be 6 inches thick, and then I can go ahead and remove the rest of the information here. So now I just have a solid 6-inch thickened concrete apron. And with that set up, we'll make sure this is set up to go to the TO foundation level, and we're also going to offset this thing at a negative 2 inches, see if it gets close to where it's supposed to end up. This time I'm going to then just go ahead and draw in a rectangle. So we'll just pull a rectangle down across where that's supposed to be. And I'm going to allow this to actually go slightly past the outside of the foundation wall. I want that to go slightly outside because I want that to have a small lip past the edge of the concrete for the wall. That way, cars, it gives a better ability for the macadam and the concrete to meet the interior of the garage slab. So there we have the detail pretty much taken care of for the garage door. The detail is pretty much taken care of for the wall system also. Alright, so with the walls taken care of, let's jump back to the assignment and take a look right here. We have a 2-foot or 24-inch by 24-inch concrete footer CMU pier support. So this support is in the middle of the concrete slab, and this is set up so that if there's any type of settlement inside of the slab, that this is going to end up supporting that concrete so it doesn't end up sinking or buckling. So we need to go ahead and get a footer placed into the center here, and then just a pier of cinder blocks will run up to the bottom of the foam insulation. So we can go ahead and do that on the same layer we worked on before. We just need to set up our layers properly. So we'll go ahead and set the footer concrete, and we're going to tell it that it's going to go from the bottom of the garage footer, and it's going to go up to the bottom of the garage foundation. So we'll just find what is rough center here, and we'll just create a 2-foot by 2-foot footer we'll go ahead and immediately turn that right into a hidden line, so we don't forget to do that. A hidden 116, that's good. And then we're going to go ahead and the same thing, grab my wall tool and just grab my basic cinder block, masonry concrete, no need for foam. We're not doing any thermal issues here. Base constraint, this is going to be the bottom of the garage foundation, and it's going to go ahead and run up to the TO foundation for now. And then we'll just go ahead and run a 16-inch piece. So we're running one cinder block right up through the middle, and we'll just move this so it's centered on the pier. So now we have our pier taken care of, pretty much tidied up, setting some things here for the foundation. What we're going to look at here, jump into the 3D view just quickly, and we could just have a little turnaround here. You can see that the slab's sticking out. Oh, we got a little pier sticking out of there, so we got to fix that pier. What I'll do to see that is I'm just going to pull that forward so I can actually see that in my section, and I can take a peek here and say, let's just pull you back down under here. Pull that down underneath of the rigid foam insulation, and now we're really close to starting to set up all of our sheets and the details necessary. So all the details that we're going to go ahead and set up for this particular assignment for the garage foundation, and then also setting up the section view with details, and then also the two callouts. We'll set that up in a separate video, so we'll have a part 4 on how to set up your sheets.